Hi guys, welcome back to a page in the chapter, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Paige and today we are reading Magnolia Parks. So I saw a booktube video entitled Magnolia Parks is just Red Taylor's version, and I'm not sure if you know this, but I am a huge Taylor Swift fan. I'm surprised I can even speak right now when she surprise announced Midnights the other day. So I have not watched this video. I didn't want to bias myself any more than I have already been biased, because now that I know there's a Taylor Swift comparison, I really want to like this book. But other than that, I have watched no media surrounding this book, so hopefully I will be unbiased. I will leave the link to that video down in the description, and I will be watching it the minute I finish this book. So if you're interested, do please go and check out that video, because this comparison is not mine. This is just the comparison that actually made me want to pick up this book. So we're doing a reading vlog to see how I actually find this book and whether it does compare well to Red Taylor's version. It is just the perfect time of year to be reading this book, especially if it is Red Taylor's version, because that is just the most autumnal album ever. I mean, I've got a sweater vest on, I have an autumnal book, I went and got a pumpkin spice latte today. Like, it is just, it's the 1st of September and I've decided that it is now autumn. So I'm so excited to check this book out. But just from what like the blurb is that this book is a bit of an investigation into how many loves do we get as humans in a lifetime. The blurb does sound very Red Taylor's version. So how many loves do you get in a lifetime? How many people do you get to call yours? There are all sorts of loves in this world. Not all of them, but most of them are beautiful. Some are old, some noble, some brave, others are dishonourable and weak and make you so by association. Some are a low whisper in a sombre night, some are maddening, some you can't ignore. They slow burn inside of you, never quite going out completely, but you're too scared to dare try to fan that flame. Some loves you pretend you don't feel, even when you can, even when you know you do, even if he's the first thing you think of in the morning, even if he's like a match in the darkened room of your heart. Because loving something how you love him is a painful love that puts rocks in your pockets and melancholy in your eyeballs, and if time has taught you anything, it's that it doesn't matter. You'll love him forever anyway. It just sounds like Red Taylor's version. It does. And I am so excited to get into this book. So if you guys like reading vlogs or themed reading vlogs or anything with vlog in the title, then I do have a whole playlist dedicated to these that I would be thrilled if you would go and check out. And you can hit that big red subscribe button down below to stay tuned for future vlogs and other bookish content. I upload twice a week on a Wednesday and a Friday, so there is no shortage of bookish content here for you to enjoy. I really hope that you guys enjoy this video. Do leave your thoughts on this book down in the comment section. I would love to hear about it. I don't think I've been this excited for a book in a while. And now let's get on into the reading. So I am 40 pages into Magnolia Parks and the vibes are immaculate. Okay, I'm just enjoying the vibes very much. It's not the easiest situation to wrap your head around, but it does get clearer as you read it. I wouldn't say, like, it just, there's a lot of names and it does just take some situating and some getting used to figure out what is actually going on, who is who, how all these characters know each other. But that is kind of slowly being revealed, and I do think that that is an intentional thing. I have noticed a little, just a tiny mistake. Jessa Hastings, the author of this book, talks about how our main character Magnolia went to her parents bought her way into Imperial College London and she did a BA degree. Imperial College London is a science university and only offers BSc and MSc degrees. So for her to do a Bachelor of Arts, really she wanted to be looking at somewhere like UCL for like one of the like good, like really good universities in London that offers BA degrees. Imperial College London was the incorrect choice for that. I don't know if like Jessa Hastings is English or American. Honestly, kind of an easy mistake to make, and it's only because I'm going through the university process right now and I know people who went to Imperial College London. Then I know that it is a science school and they don't do BA degrees. Other than that, the vibes of this book are just immaculate. I am very enjoying the atmosphere. I have a pumpkin candle in the background, I've got Gilmore Girls on, I've got a coffee. Like, the vibes are just really good, and I like our main character, Magnolia Parks. This book is very much Gossip Girl right now. I can see how it will become kind of like Red Taylor's version. I'm interested to see. There's a hell of a lot of yearning in this book. If you are someone who likes friends to lovers and yearning, then this book is for you. I am very much not a friends to lovers person, but this is honestly kind of working for me right now. Like, I don't mind friends to lovers when they're gonna spend what I assume is the majority of this book just yearning for each other, but then we also have like flashbacks too. I don't know, I very much like the way this is written at the moment. So it's like friends to lovers, a lot of heartbreak, and Gossip Girl all in one. Like, Magnolia Parks is very, very wealthy, kind of like a bit of a socialite. She is Blair Waldorf, basically. If you want to read about Blair Waldorf and Chuck Bass, like, absolutely yearning for each other whilst also listening to Red Taylor's version, then that's what the beginning of this book is giving. I have not moved from my spot. I probably won't be moving from my spot. I did go to make a cup of tea in my new Dancing Skeletons mug because I am making the fact that I'm studying anthropology my entire personality for the rest of my master's degree. But I just have a small little update on Magnolia Parks. I am now 78 pages into it, and we have the next little section of why this friends to lovers is working for me, and that is because we have a detailed analysis of emotions and not just events as to why these two characters are not together. If you're going to do a friends to lovers with lots of yearning, I need to know why they don't just get together, especially when it's so clear that BJ and Magnolia are in love with each other and they both know it. So why are they not together? And not only did we have like events that are why they're not together, we also had like a lot of discussions of feelings. This is a very, very emotional book. A lot of emotive language. It's just, yeah, it is very Red Taylor's version in the amount of like emotive language. It's quite over dramatic and I am here for it. But yes, I just very much appreciate that there was like quite a big chunk on why these characters are not just dating. It's making the yearning that much better, and I just need to know like how they're gonna overcome this. Are they gonna finally just put everything aside? And like the reason they're not together as well is just satisfying. I don't know, I'm enjoying this book. I feel like it's doing friends to lovers very well. I mean, I'm not even sure if it will be a friends to lovers. What if they don't ever get together? Like, it is that ambiguity in the book that I think is why I'm enjoying the fact that they are friends. Like, I haven't typically liked friends to lovers before because I just find it quite boring, and I don't think there's ever valid reasons for why they're not going to get together. And if an author creates valid reasons for them not being together, then why at that moment in time in the book do they get over them to then become lovers? Because most of the time when I'm reading happy romances, I know that there will be a happy ending and I need a good reason for why then, and I don't feel like that's ever typically given to me. But because I don't know that they will end up together in this book, because it could just be a heartbreaking book that explores being in love rather than having a happy ending, and it doesn't really seem like a book that would have a happy ending, but it might do. I feel like that's just really helping with the whole friends thing. It's keeping me there with our characters. So I have not done much reading of Magnolia Parks today. It's been a filming and editing kind of day, but that's okay because yesterday I read 250 pages of the book. I'm about halfway through now. I don't remember the last time I've literally not been able to put a book down. I will say though, this book is not for everyone, and because I haven't really been seeing any reviews, I don't know how it's being pushed other than the fact that it's kind of like a TikTok sensation. But it just worries me because honestly, I don't think there's many, like the majority of people out there will probably not like this book, and I don't want to see it start to get loads of bad reviews just because it's been pushed incorrectly on social media. If you do not like books when nothing happens, you're not gonna like this book. I'm 250 pages in and it's literally just Magnolia Parks' life. Like barely anything happens in it, but it to me is still so interesting. And I'm not really getting this whole exploration of different types of love thing. It seems to just be an exploration of one type of love for one person and the spectrum of emotions you can feel within that. In that sense, it is very Red Taylor's version, because that is what Red Taylor's version is about. It's about the spectrum of anger and hatred that red represents on one end, but also red representing love. It's kind of like a bit of a When Harry Met Sally situation. It is about these two people, Magnolia and BJ, who are clearly supposed to be together but just keep missing each other due to pride or times of events or miscommunications. Like 250 pages in and there have been so many almosts, and it is genuinely frustrating how many almosts there have been, but it hasn't quite worked out for them yet, if it ever will. So yeah, this book is definitely not for everyone because it's just like long, kind of slightly lyrical and like beautiful prose about these very, very rich people who just can't get over their pride and be together. It is the most champagne problems book I've ever read, in the sense of it is about champagne problems, but also like in terms of like heartbreak and stuff, it's kind of a bit like the song Champagne Problems. So yeah, I don't want to see this book then suddenly get slammed with bad reviews because it's blown up on TikTok and people are going to go into it expecting a lot to happen. It is a 400-page book about one person who doesn't live a particularly interesting life. I am really enjoying it, but I can't quite work out why I'm enjoying it because, as I said, nothing's really happened. But I think I'm just really, really invested in Magnolia and BJ's relationship, and I just really want to see it work out, and so I think that's why you get invested. But I just would be careful going into this book because it's kind of Taylor Jenkins Reid-esque in the sense of it is just about the most mundane things, but you somehow want to keep reading because you want to know what happens. Just be careful, because I really don't want this book to get slammed with bad reviews just because people aren't aware of what it is before they go into it. I don't think it's really fair on a book when that happens, and that is the danger of TikTok sometimes. I am on page 466 of Magnolia Parks. I have stormed through it and I only have the tiniest little section yet to read. I've taken a little step away from it the past couple of days, mostly due to work than lack of wanting to read it, and I will be getting this finished today. I've been thinking about the Red Taylor's version connection, and whilst overtly this book gives me more Gossip Girl, and I feel like if I was recommending it I would maybe play up the Gossip Girl more than I would play up any kind of Taylor Swift connection, because it's not that overt. None of the situations are really the same, but what I like is that Red Taylor's version is an album about all of the different emotions you feel during love, and also about going through like the biggest heartbreak of your life and then still choosing to love again. And if you look at it that way, at like its core, and then you look at this book at its core, they are exactly the same. They are about different emotions you feel when you're in love with somebody. They're about going through the worst heartbreak of your life and then choosing to still love at the end of that. I have loved this book. I don't think it is a 5 stars for me, but I have been obsessed with it, and just the fact that I've read it so quickly. I'm honestly though a little bit surprised that it has blown up. Not because the book isn't good, but just because it is so much a book about nothing. It is literally just a book about two people who constantly miss each other and I'm just surprised that TikTok have liked that. And I do urge you to be very careful before going into this book, because if you do not want to read nearly 500 pages of yearning, this book is 1000% not for you. There's no like real events in this book either. It is just two people yearning for each other. If I had known that coming into this book, if I had known anything about this book other than the description of Red Taylor's version, I think I maybe would have been a little bit on the fence. I definitely would have still read it, because I'll do anything for Miss Swift. I would have been more hesitant, but I came into this book so like open-minded and wholeheartedly that I feel like it's just, I don't know, I just couldn't really put it down, and now here I am loving it, even though it shouldn't be something that I love. I'm probably going to finish it now. I'd be lying if I said half the reason that I'm putting it off is because I don't want to finish it. Like, I don't really know what I'm going to do with myself when it's finished. There's no other book like this. I have to go into The Burning God after this, and they're just not even remotely the same vibes, and I'm not really ready to stop learning about Magnolia Parks. She is a very, very magnetic character, both to the characters in the book and to the reader, and I'm just not ready to say goodbye to her yet. So I have since finished Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much more than I think I ever expected that I could. It is definitely a book that encapsulates the autumnal feeling as well as the discussions of love and heartbreak that Red Taylor's version does. I think it was a very apt comparison. It is Red Taylor's version meets Gossip Girl, but also Red Taylor's version does have The Lucky One, does deal with like discussions of fame and stuff, so even just looking at it as Red as an album, it fits. But I feel like mentioning that it is about like New York high society is also important to know, in case you absolutely cannot stand books about rich people, which I think would be fair enough. I, however, have very much enjoyed it. But since finishing it, I have discovered that I'm very, very disappointed in the ending of this book. I feel like it was a bit of a letdown, and it's not the way that it ended. I am okay with the way the book ended in terms of Magnolia and VJ's relationship. I would have been happy no matter how it ended, I think, if it had been written well, but the ending just felt a little bit rushed. It was such a slow burn book. I mean, this book is nearly 500 pages, and the last time I spoke to you I had maybe 10 pages left, and it all occurred within those 10 pages. I hadn't even started to get to the book, like wrapping up, when I last spoke to you. So it just felt a little bit rushed, and I would have liked to have seen it from a more character development point of view than just events that occurred. It was such an emotional book, and I just wanted more, and I didn't feel satisfied with the ending. I don't feel satisfied with the ending. I don't know if that was the point, but if that was the point, then that needed to be made clearer. So that was like the spoiler-free section. I'm now going to talk in relation to specific things that bothered me, and I will put a spoiler warning up. So whenever the spoilers disappear from the screen, you guys can come back and I will be all spoiler-free again. So here's your little like couple seconds to skip ahead. I'm gonna count down from 3 and then I will be doing spoilers. So 3, 2, 1. The ending of this book, the book ends with Magnolia and VJ getting together again, which didn't mind, honestly. As I said, I would have been very happy if they had gotten together, if it had been a happy ending, if it had not been. And then Magnolia and VJ go out again, and Magnolia finally discovers who it was that VJ cheated on her with. And I found this to be quite predictable. I kind of called it from a while ago, but again, didn't really bother me that much. I can live with that. And then they have this big argument, and Magnolia rips off the necklace that she's been wearing the whole time, and it's like the one thread that proves that Magnolia and VJ are always going to get back together is that she never took off this necklace, and she finally does. And then the book ends with Magnolia going to Heathrow. Now, I am not sure if she like goes to Heathrow because Tom is there and he's a pilot. Like, is that the insinuation? Is she just leaving New York? Is that the insinuation? If she's leaving New York, like, where is she going? Is it like a character development trip? Like, what is she doing? I understand that it's probably supposed to be quite an ambiguous ending, but I don't like the fact that they had this argument and it's just Magnolia going to the airport. It could have ended like that, that's fine, but give me a little bit of an epilogue that's like, okay, these two characters that I've just read about for nearly 500 pages are actually done now, or give maybe a little hint that they do start talking to each other again. Like, I need something. Does she get with Tom? Does she swear off boys? Is she now a career woman? Does she go and bond with her sister and her family again? Like, I just felt like Magnolia Parks deserved a bit more of a character development than her just running off to the airport kind of gave her. I needed an epilogue, or just for that to have been written differently. I needed more emotions to be inflected into it. I just needed to know more about why Magnolia Parks went to the airport. If you're going to end the book like that, I need to know why. And Jessa Hastings has been so good at explaining why the whole book, so I feel like it was intentional to do that. But if it was intentional, then I don't think the effect was as intended. I'm just not very happy with the ending of this book. There we go, spoilers over. Glad to have those of you who skipped ahead join us again. And for the most part, I really enjoyed this book. I will be giving it like 3.5, 3.75 stars. Honestly, could be like a 4. I feel like 3.5 doesn't reflect how much I enjoyed it, but I also don't know if it's quite 4 stars just because of the ending and how long of a book it is. But it was very enjoyable. I'm very, very glad that I read it, and this will probably be a go-to autumnal book for me from now on. So if you guys liked this video, then do please feel free to hit that big red subscribe button down below and stay tuned for future content. I upload twice a week on a Wednesday and a Friday, so there is no shortage of bookish content here for you to enjoy. Do let me know your thoughts on Magnolia Parks. I would love to hear them because I have thoughts and I need to chat to somebody, and I like to hear other people's points of view on this book. And now that I finished it, I can very happily go and watch other people's thoughts on it, and I can finally watch the video that said this book was just Red Taylor's version in a book, because I really want to watch that video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope that you have enjoyed. Let me know if you go on to read this book, or if you have read it, what your thoughts are, as I already said that. Since I'm rambling, I'm just gonna head on out now. But I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, you're enjoying everything that you are reading, and there are no reading slumps in your future, and I will see you on Friday for my next video. Bye guys.